Okay, Assalamualaikum. Untuk hari ini, for today, we will learn about chapter 5. Okay, we continue from our previous week about professional ethics and quality management procedure. Okay, if for the last week, okay, we have covered ACCA codes of ethics and threats to the fundamental principle and how to safeguard the threats. So for this week, we will focus on this objective: obtaining audit engagement, acceptance, ISA 210, and then quality management on individual audit. Okay, for the first part, obtaining audit engagement. So macam mana audit firm ni nak dapat audit engagement, nak advertise their services. Dia boleh advertise. The member, the audit firm are entitled to advertise their services and their product. However, they should follow the advertisement rules and regulation lah. The promotional material should not bring ACCA into disrepute or bring discredit to the member, firm or the accountancy profession. Jangan malukan ACCA, jangan malukan member of ACCA lah. And then do not discredit the services offered by others. Jangan sebabkan kita nak promote kita punya services, we condemn other firm, we condemn other small firm that offered the same services. For example, dalam advertisement kata kita lah big four, okay, kita lah big four, yang ni firm kecil je, baiklah buat audit ataupun audit engagement dengan kita. Audit firm tak boleh buat macam tu. Okay, and then do not misleading, of course, and then do not fall short of the requirement of advertising standard. So audit firm boleh buat advertisement, cuma kena follow this certain rules lah. So untuk acceptance, the first thing is about audit fees. Most client company, they do not want their firms to be audited, so they do not want to pay a high price for the auditor. So the large company often they invite tenders for the auditor to propose their price, to propose their audit fees, and then they can choose which auditor that they want to audit them. Okay, so it depends for the auditor price, auditor fees that the auditor charge. So the question is, if the auditor charge less than the market, which means they try to put a strategy of lowballing, okay, the auditor. So it lead to the question about the quality of the auditor work and their independence, because if they do lowballing, okay, they choose to be a loss leader for the audit work, they may promote their side services, for example the taxation work or consultancy work, to the audit firm. So they charge lower for audit because they come with package with taxation services and consultancy services. So so it related to the question of independence, because if they do, for example, audit, accounting, taxation and consultancy, as I mentioned in the prior classes, it may lead to the risk of dependency to the audit. So before they accept any proposal, before they want to become the auditor of the client company, they have to do some homework lah. Okay, they have to discover whether they can act professionally in terms of legally or ethically. Okay, whether they are professionally qualified to be an auditor. Ada tak anak saudara yang related, ada tak itu company bini dia ke, company husband dia ke, ataupun company anak dia ke. So dia kena tahu dulu sama ada this client company is somehow related to them or related to their partners, okay, or their audit team members. Okay, and then they have to ensure that their resources are adequate to audit the client company, and then they have to obtain reference from the partners, and then they have to communicate with the present auditors, because they must want to know why the client company want to change the auditor from the current auditor to the to you, okay, to the latest auditor. Why they want to change, what's the problem, they have to discover before they accept to be the auditor, the new auditor of the client company. So here is the appointment decision chart for the auditor to decide whether or not to accept the new audit client. So if the auditor is approached by the new audit client, so if the client is the first time for them to be audited, so the auditor can accept the client right away. Okay, not right away lah, they have to make sure that they have enough resources, they have to make sure they can act professionally like before. But if there is no challenges, okay, no obstacle in order to audit the client, then they can accept or maybe they can reject the appointment decision by the client. Okay, it depends on the auditor. There's no need to follow the professional rules. The auditor can make their own decision. But if the client have been audited before, meaning dia dah ada auditor sebelum ni, so dia kena pergi ke second step here. Okay, so first, does the client give permission to contact all auditors? Okay, auditor yang sebelum ni. Kalau dia bagi contact, if yes, then auditor should write all the information regarding the old client regarding the appointment section. Then if the client give the old auditor permission to reply, then the old auditor give all the information needed for the audit process for the client, then they can decide whether or not to accept the appointment decision. But if the auditor does not give permission to contact the old auditors, so the auditor should decline the appointment, because there's something fishy. Kenapa tak boleh nak contact auditor sebelum ni? Okay, and then kalau lah dia bagi contact, tapi dia tak bagi permission dekat old auditor to reply, so something fishy juga, dia kena decline. Tapi kalau dia the client give permission to contact all auditors, and then they have contact the old auditors, and the client give permission to the old auditors to reply for all the information, but if the old auditor does not provide the information needed, they can give the old auditor due notice, then decide on basis of knowledge obtained otherwise. Jadi dia boleh apa tu, the new auditor, you as the new auditor can give the auditor due notice in order for them to give the required information regarding to the client company. Alright, if you as an auditor have considered to accept the client company, what you have to do is to ensure that the outgoing auditor removal or resignation properly conducted, meaning that the old auditor have really resigned. So all the procedures for the resignation is have been conducted in place. So dia betul-betul dah bukan auditor untuk client company tu. And then you have to ensure that your appointment as the new auditor is valid, and then you have to agree for the engagement terms and submit a letter of engagement. Okay, kalau dalam exam, okay, dia tanya apakah faktor-faktor yang awak perlu consider untuk untuk rekrut, untuk untuk engage with the new client. Okay, These are among the factors that you can write down lah. Okay, it depends on the level of risk associated with the client. So risk associated to it depends on the contohnya client current financial position, is it good ataupun setiap tahun manjang loss je. So you have to consider whether the company is going concern, okay, it is good up to the longer term financial prospect, dia boleh bertahan lama lah dalam industri ataupun dia dah nak dekat-dekat bankrupt tu. So you have to consider that before you consider them to be your new client. And then how strong is the internal control mechanism that have been adopted by the client company, okay ke tidak, ke tak ada internal control langsung, so kena tengok. So is there any evidence of doubtful accounting practice, ada tak dia main apa tu, dia main tukar-tukar figure ke, ada creative accounting kat situ ke. So you have to do some audit investigation lah sikit. And then whether the management competent and honest. So tengok ada tak ada a huge number of director resign suddenly. So itu adalah antara tips-tips untuk tengok sama ada client company tu risky atau tak. So the fees for the audit, the fees for the auditor or the audit fees should reflect the risk associated with the client. So higher risk client, okay, might result in higher audit fees. So ISA 210 is about agreeing the terms of audit engagement. So before accepting or continue audit engagement, they have to make sure they have agreed the precondition for an audit. Okay, dah established dah precondition for audit, and then confirm that there is a common understanding between the auditor and then the management of the client about the engagement of the audit. So if these two is present, so they can agree the terms of audit engagement ISA 210. So what are the precondition for an audit? So before they are performing or before they are agreeing to be the auditor of the client company, they have to agree on this precondition for audit. Syarat-syarat sebelum di audit lah. Syarat-syaratnya ialah satu, the use by management of acceptable financial reporting framework. Okay, contohnya kalau di Malaysia sama ada diguna MFRS ataupun kalau di public sector diguna MPSAS, okay, ataupun dia dah kena ada specific standard yang dia perlu guna as per agreed by the auditor. So management perlu guna that framework untuk menyediakan dia punya financial statement. Okay, they have to prepare their financial statement based on the agreed financial reporting framework ataupun based on the required financial reporting framework that they have to use. Okay, required by the law ke, rules and regulation ke. Okay, so and then they have to agree, the management have to agree that they are responsible to prepare the financial statement, not the auditor who have to prepare the financial statement. The management, the client company have to prepare it, the financial statement, to establish internal control, and then to ensure the financial statement are free of material misstatement. And then they have to agree to provide the auditor access to all records and documents and stuff. Okay, they cannot hide something. They have to agree that they cannot hide all this information from the auditor. So kalau tak ada, kalau precondition ni tak ada, satu dia boleh discuss. If the precondition for audit are not present, so they can first they can discuss with the management of the client company. Okay, discuss dulu. Yang ni tak ikut, contohnya dia tak ikut framework sekian, kita nak dia ikut framework sekian. Kalau dia willing to change, willing to follow, then okay, boleh consider to accept. But if they do not want to accept the proposed engagement or the precondition for the audit. So they can the auditor cannot accept them to be the client company lah. Okay. Okay, if the precondition for audit have been met, kalau semua precondition tu ada, mengikut financial reporting framework yang betul, dan management agree to prepare the apa financial report, and then agree to provide all the information, access to staff and all. So audit engagement letter can be issued. So in audit engagement letter, it is a written term of engagement of the auditor with the client company, and it should include objective and scope of audit, auditor responsibility, management responsibility, applicable financial reporting framework, expected form, and content of the report to be issued by the auditor, and then a statement that there may be circumstances in which the report may be differ from its expected form and content. So the audit engagement letter should include all of this information. Right, other than listed in the prior slide, audit engagement letter can also include elaboration of scope of audit, form of other communication for the result of audit, whether through the meetings, board meetings ke, ataupun through apa-apa form lah, communication of result of the audit. Inherent limitation of audit. Audit is limited to financial reporting audit and such. Arrangement regarding planning and performance, and then expectation of written representation from the management. Okay, beside there's also other items that can be included also in the audit engagement letter, such as the agreement of management to provide draft of financial financial statement, and then agreement of management to inform auditor fact about any effect that of the financial statement from the date of auditor report to date of issuance of financial statement, any fees and billing arrangement, how much is the auditor fees, okay, when they should pay, whether at the end of the audit work ataupun setiap bulan ke macam mana, and then request for management to acknowledge receipt of letter, and then involvement of auditors and expert in the audit work. Okay, this item can also be included in the audit engagement letter about the involvement of internal auditors and other staff in helping the external auditor in the audit work. Arrangement to be made with the predecessor auditor, or the old auditor or the prior auditor. Restriction of auditor's liability. Meaning that if there is any fraud, occurrence of frauds, and so on, it's not within the auditor liability, for example, and reference to any further arrangement, and then obligation to provide audit working papers to other parties. Okay, if the audit work is a recurring audit, meaning that it's not the first time for the auditor to audit the client firm, maybe their second time or third time, so the audit engagement letter can include or can be revised to mention about the indication that the entity misunderstand the objective and scope of the audit, any revised or special terms of the audit engagement that may have not been disclosed in the audit engagement letter previously, so they want to revise as this is their third year of audit relationship. For example, if there is any recent change of the senior management that they want to include in the audit engagement letter, any significant change in nature or size of the entity, maybe in prior year they are automotive company, but somehow this year they change it into manufacturing businesses, for example. A change in legal or regulatory requirement, a change in financial reporting framework, maybe previously they use IFRS, but this year they want to follow other reporting framework. Okay, so a change in other reporting requirement they can include in the audit engagement letter, a revised audit engagement letter. So before accepting the audit engagement work with the client company, they have to ensure that the client company have quality management at a firm level that encompass these areas lah. First, the firm and leadership responsibility for the quality within the firm. Okay, siapa yang bertanggungjawab untuk memastikan yang client company ni adalah berkualiti daripada segi dia punya proses, daripada segi dia punya prosedur, daripada internal control dia. So in term of human resources, adakah cukup, adakah enough, adakah berkualiti ke tidak human resources dia, engagement performance dia macam mana, dan monitoring dia, dan by whom. Okay, they have to make sure that the quality management at the firm level is enough. Okay, for ISA 220, revised ISA 220, quality management for audit of financial statement. The objective of auditor is to manage the quality of engagement level in order to obtain reasonable assurance that quality has been achieved. Okay, such that macam mana dia nak make sure that the reasonable assurance, the quality reasonable assurance has been achieved. The auditor first have to fulfill their responsibility, conduct the audit in accordance with professional standard and applicable legal and regulatory requirement. Okay, of course, it's including the professional ethical standard. Okay, so macam mana nak make sure yang the audit that have been performed is in high quality. So the auditor perlu being responsible, okay, fulfill their responsibility in a professional ethical standard and according to the legal and regulatory requirement. And then second one, the auditor report issued is appropriate in the circumstances. Mestilah report tu mestilah menyeluruh ataupun appropriate lah, mengikut keadaan semasa. So the engagement partner is responsible for the quality of the audit engagement between the client company and the audit firm. So all the team members are responsible into contributing to ensure that the audit engagement is of highest quality. Okay, first they have to understand the ethical requirement and must ensure that all the team members are aware of the professional ethical requirement and must follow the professional ethical requirement. And then they have to responsible for policy, the client acceptance or continuance is being followed. Make sure all the policies, all the procedures is being followed. And then must make sure there are sufficient resources in order for them to do audit work. They have enough time, the staff is sufficiently competent, they have the capabilities, and the resources in terms of money is enough for them to perform the highest quality of audit work. So the engagement partner ataupun kalau dekat audit firm tu kita panggil partner lah kan, partner dekat audit firm yang chartered accountant tu, they have to ensure that the good engagement performance have been involved, meaning through direction, through their supervision and through their review, because they are responsible in order to determine the timing of the audit work, the nature of the audit work, and the extent of audit work to be resulting in the highest quality audit. Okay, so the partner dia bukan setakat sign je, dia kena review the documentation, okay, to including the significant matters and the significant judgment, dia kena review, and then dia kena make sure that there are sufficient appropriate audit evidence in order to support every judgment that have been made by the auditor. Setiap decision, setiap pendapat opinion perlu ada appropriate audit evidence. Okay, and then the partner kena review financial statement tu before dia sign the auditor report. Okay, sebelum dia sign report, dia kena tengok dulu financial statement of the client company that have been prepared by the management of the client company, and then they have to be responsible to ensure that the consultation taken on difficult and contentious matters. Some client company may require engagement quality review, okay, to be performed, especially for the high risk audit engagement lah, yang mana klien-klien tu yang rasanya a bit risky, mungkin dia hampir-hampir nak bankrupt ke, ataupun dia mungkin ada kemungkinan ada scandals, bukan skandal tu lah, skandal yang financial scandal, okay, ataupun ada fraud scandal ke. So auditor ni perlu ada engagement quality review. Dia perlu hire seorang engagement quality reviewer. Okay, so the partner ni perlu hire engagement quality reviewer untuk audit client firm tu, and then the partner should cooperate dengan reviewer and inform others of the audit team of their responsibility, and then they have to discuss a significant matter and significant judgment arise during the audit work, and then they have to include those identified during the engagement quality review with the engagement quality reviewer, and then the partner should not date the auditor report, tak boleh sign auditor report, tak boleh sign lagi until the completion of the engagement quality review. So kalau untuk high risk client, maksudnya the auditors team dah buat kerja, dah buat audit, okay, dah issue audit report, okay, and then the partner should hire another engagement quality reviewer in order to review the report, and then after that there's some discussion with the partner, between the partner and the reviewer. Then only if the reviewer say is okay, the engagement quality is high, so maybe the partner can sign the auditor report.